baseball winter meetings. Do you find this, Jeremy, to be more of a more anxiety for these winter meetings than have been for in the years past?
It is. I got a message from a buddy that said it's so great to hear all these things that are being said. Like, they're in on this guy, they're in on that guy. And then, like, to hear reporters say it, there's multiple reporters saying that they've been in on Schwarber, that they've been in on Pete Alonso, who's now driving to the winter meetings to go meet with the Red Sox and Orioles. We've talked about Kyle Tucker and then all the different pitchers that are out there, and there's a boatload of them. They have the ones that they like. Ranger Suárez could be one that's coming here. A lot of people have said Ranger Suárez is a younger, better version of Framber Valdez at this point. But I've heard that Framber Valdez is probably going to sign before most of these guys by the end of the week. I'm not saying with the Orioles, but he's going to pick a team.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the guy Chuck wrote me and he said, if they're doing this and they do the old Charlie Brown and pull the football away from me every time I think they're going to sign somebody, I'm going to be upset. But I got to admit, it is nice hearing that we're in on all these free agents. And by the way, in years past, we didn't hear they were in on Shohei Ohtani.
No,
we didn't hear they were in on somebody.
Absolutely not the number one free agents.
Kyle Tucker's the number one free agent, and they're in on him. So you could say what you want. And even Mike Elias come out and said, people asking, are you going to offer serious money? He's like, we already have offered a ton of money. So we're waiting to hear back.
Roch Kubatko joins us from MassivSports.com, School of Rock. Roch, how is Orlando?
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm just thinking of what rumor I can start. I haven't really started a good one yet. So stay with me on this. I'm going to report, according to industry source familiar with negotiations, that Mike Elias had Kyle Tucker, Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso, Framber Valdez, and Ranger Suárez in his suite at the same time they set up an omelet bar. I'm running with that one.
Roch, we were just talking, man. It's kind of refreshing that here we are at winter meetings and the Orioles are in rumor on national level, rumors about being in on some heavy hitters.
It's really funny that like they are right now the talk of the meetings. They haven't done anything, but I think it's just because it's the Orioles. If this was the Yankees or Dodgers, I don't think it would get as much attention. But it's like, wow, are these guys, serious about being big players and free agency? And, they sound much more confident that they're going to get something done than they have in the past. And if you trace the history recently under the Angelos family, then even when Mike Elias was first hired, he wasn't looking to make any big moves in free agency. He was building his analytics and international scouting departments, and they were rebuilding, and there were still limitations after that. We haven't had a whole lot of off seasons with David Rubenstein and his ownership group, so we don't really know how they would react. And it's the first time that he's owned the team when they've been in last place. So, maybe it's a new period here, but, the interesting things we found out yesterday, because the names we keep hearing, like the ones I named, have been attached to them all off season. But the fact that Mike Elias said, yes, the payroll could hold a big ticket item for the rotation and the lineup. Now, it can hold it. That doesn't mean they're going to do it, but they do have the payroll space, and position doesn't matter offensively if they go out and get a hitter. It can be a first baseman, even though they don't need a first baseman. It could be outfield. It could be a designated hitter, which is not what they had planned because they were going to use that as a flexible spot to rotate guys like Basayo, Rutschman, Mayo, whomever. They just want a big bat, and they'll make it work. So it is interesting that they've created such a loud buzz here just because they are willing, supposedly, to do all these things.
Well, since you mentioned it, what do you think about Pete Alonso driving up from his house in Tampa to Orlando? And how would he fit in here?
He's well, right? I mean, they would make it fit. Like, again, do they need a first baseman? No. But they could absolutely use that bat and that clubhouse leadership. And I think that is kind of an underrated focus for them, is that they need at least one or more strong veteran voices, the voice and lead by example type guys that we're missing. Right? Ryan O'Hearn tried to be that guy and then was traded. But then they would just have to make it work. You always hear about this first domino falling in free agency, like the first big name goes off the board and the others follow. The Orioles have their own game of dominoes, where it's like the first move they make here is going to lead to other moves. If you go and sign Pete Alonso, then you're going to have to trade at least one of your first basemen. That puts Mountcastle or Mayo in a package for possibly a starter. If you bring in an outfielder to play center field, I'm going to say something outrageous like $400 million for Kyle Tucker, which I still don't believe, but we'll see. Then you've got to trade an outfielder. And is that Colton Cowser? Is that Dylan Beavers or some combo? And you're going to package for a starting pitcher. So anybody you bring in to fit in this lineup like that is going to have to lead to another move in order to make room, and they're more than willing to do that.
Hey, Roch, who do you think's the best fit? Not only from, I know you're kind of matching it up and they can take whatever hitter they want, but especially for the pitching side, is there a starting pitcher that you think you would like to see come here over the other ones, or just give me your basic thoughts on the starters? Because there's a lot of names, and it's trying to figure out which ones that you want to go after, and it seems like the Orioles are in on all of them.
They are. And I mean, obviously Framber Valdez would be a number one. Ranger Suárez, I guess, would be a one. But also, I would be fine with a Michael King, who might be a 2 or 3, as long as you have Bradish and Trevor Rogers, and you're confident Rogers is not going to show any signs of regression, and he shouldn't. To have a big top 3 like that, and then fill it out, they're going to sign somebody else or trade for somebody else. There's going to be another starter back end, but you've got Tyler Wells, you've got Dean Kramer, and you have the guys that could compete and prove the depth. I think any of those fit. I mean, and I think Suarez is going to be cheaper than Valdez, and numbers are comparable. And, Valdez, depending on what you believe, could come with a little bit of baggage. I mean, he's a bit of a character.
Yeah.
And either one of those would certainly enhance the rotation. I think Suarez is a little younger and has been really good as a postseason pitcher. So, any of those guys would make a big difference in that rotation. And then, of course, with the Orioles, they'll all get hurt by May. But in the meantime, it would be a big strike.
Mike Elias isn't worried about payroll restrictions. Read about it. MASNsports.com. Roch Kubatko wrote about it. Roch, enjoy Orlando. Leave Minnie alone, all right?
You got it. I'm wearing my Mickey ears. It's Mickey Janice, but I got the Mickey ears on.
There you go, man. Thanks a lot, Roch.
Minnie and Mickey got divorced. She was effing goofy. You didn't know that one? Hey, yeah.
Mike in Baltimore. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how y'all doing this morning?
Well, how are you, man?
I want to talk about celebrity hitting on your girl. Back in the 80s, I went to see the Get Band, my favorite group of the 80s, right? And I had front row seats. And the guitarist, Lonnie, was looking at my girl and just the whole concert, he's ogling her and she's ogling him. And I'm like, girl, you want to get on the stage? You came with me, I was so mad. Sitting there at the concert, front row.
Gap Band.
Did she go home with you?
She did.
Okay.
She did.
Did she drop the bomb on you?
But she was thinking of him.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know, Mike. Mike, she was thinking about him, though. Just let you know.
I wanted to go oops upside his head.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. 110-583-1057. Kim McCusick joins us at 8 o'clock, but on the other side. Do you have any reason to believe the outcome of Sunday's game will be different than Thanksgiving Day with the Bengals? Baltimore's Big Bad Morning Show on the Fan.
After the big